Our next session is going to be something on the similar lines, but again, way more different. Now let me tell you that this next session will be even more engaging, as this will not be showcasing products. This will be a conversation with each individual present here. Does that sound interesting? Let us have a conversation. Does that sound interesting? Instead of listening to the presentation here and knowing more in details, a conversation, a direct feedback, and maybe discussing, that seems, to me at least, more engaging over here. So for that, ladies and gentlemen, let us move ahead to the next session, and this shall be brought to you by NetApp. I am super excited to call upon the Director, Solutions Engineering India and SARC, Mr. Shuja Mirza. And before I call him on the stage, let me take this opportunity to introduce him to all of you. Well, he is an experienced IT leader with over 25 years of total experience. And as a Director of Solution Engineering for India and SARC region, he has a robust background in IT transformation, enables customers and partners in their digital transformation projects and in the hybrid cloud journey. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a round of applause as I might now request Mr. Shuja Mirza to kindly step up on the stage here.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much. And this is a bit of a communication thing. This was supposed to be a round table.
Mr. Mirza, if I might kind of interrupt you a little longer over here. We have a few more invitees who are still waiting to join us. And we are super excited for that. And I also believe that all of you still want to be over here. Those who really want to be over here, you're more than welcome. And if you think that you need to attend the sessions right there at Pala, you might just attend that as well. We have more invitees pouring in, so we're going to take a little longer till all of them join us here. Mr. Mirza, I hope that should be fine.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we wait for a few...
just a minute or two.
A minute or two, okay, nice. This was supposed to be a round table format, so this is your round table. I don't have, you want me to run 30 slides in 45 minutes, I can do that. We can just have that, or we can just have that conversation. It is about the topic today is building intelligent data infrastructure for the AI era. And, the way things are shaping up, and this is what we're hearing from all of you, when we are having these customer conversations. The way NetApp has aligned itself with the trends, with the projects which you are running, which you have undertaken in the recent past, I thought it will be a good idea to take a cue from the trends we are witnessing, and then also hear from all of you, what are those initiatives that you are taking in your enterprises, and then slowly we will start building this up. So with these, I have four broad trends up on the slide, and I just wanted to open this, open the floor for all of you to share. And this is not only Gartner or IDC. This is something which all of you have simplified those micro trends and the broader trends into these four broad areas. So anyone who wants to add to this, to the ones which are listed right up there. I'll have to start picking on a few, otherwise please take the lead and do share any other trends which you have undertaken, or you think there is a broader area which is also underpinning the... Please, sir, you may introduce yourself and please. Sir, can we have the mic over, please? Thank you.
Yeah, hi. As I was saying, there are, by compulsion, you are on multi-cloud. You started your journey, and then you eventually land up as a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud kind of a thing. So these are the, and it also poses challenges in terms of security, manageability, and giving a single pane of control. So these are the things, these are the challenges in front of us.
Absolutely. And
same challenges we have for DPDP Act, compliances and cyber securities.
Absolutely. So security on one side, compliance on the other, and it puts a lot of pressure.
Because it is already notified August last year, and people are really struggling to how to implement and how to do the compliance, because the fines are more than 250 crore rupees.
Absolutely. And when the regulator puts that pressure on you as organizations, the pressure comes back on us as technology providers to align with those requirements and make sure we are able to service your requirements. So on the cloud side, sir, earlier, at least when I started, things were a lot simpler. They were all within the four walls of the data center. Everything you could see, touch things. A server was a server and not a virtual machine. Now you don't even know if it's a virtual machine, it's a containerized service running somewhere. Half of it on-prem, half of it in the cloud. Just makes things a lot more complex from security and compliance perspective. But to get the best of both the worlds, the whole IT evolved into an hybrid IT setup. From an information management perspective, the challenges it poses, you could have your arms around the information assets within the data center. The moment they move into the cloud, how do you really work in that architecture? How do you really leverage a data plane which works or which delivers all the advanced data management services, whether it is high speed storage serving, data serving, or security, or data protection? And when you go to the cloud, there is a very different storage service which serves your needs. So NetApp tries to solve that by providing a common data plane, both on-prem and in the cloud. So the NetApp ONTAP operating system helps you move data, protect it the way you've been used to protecting it on-prem, the way you've been used to managing it on-prem, and then provide that consistent service all across. Sorry, there was a comment here, please.
Hello. Yeah, more of a technical perspective. See, on a cybersecurity standpoint, we have a certain applications of the XDR or the MDR running in the endpoints. Okay. In the gateway level, we have our perimeter security zone. There is a cloud. In the cloud, we have a security, everything in the hybrid, in AWS, in Azure, as well as in the on-prem and co-location, everywhere. Okay. Now my point is, a user, when he is coming from his endpoints, maybe inside the office or working from home, wherever, when he is coming and accessing all the respective infrastructure as per his or her requirement.
Right.
Now, how AI going to help that and assess that user in a 360-degree way on the platform he or she is hitting, as well as on the security aspect, means he is touching his endpoints to applications, then it is breaking out using the gateway. Can AI be put on top of that, and AI can analyze if there is any challenges which is can AI predict some challenges that user is creating for the administrator or the cybersecurity administrator or for the system administrator? So that will going to ease the IT folks' life. So is there something NetApp is thinking of?
Yes, absolutely. But before that, I would like to open it for anyone else to contribute if they have overcome this problem or this challenge. How do you do that in your enterprises today? I'll come to the NetApp answer, and we do our bit on, which is very, very information centric. Even when you build these walls and when you have these checks and balances.
The wall has been built. I need to
Yes.
get a 360-degree when he is moving all the aspects, touching all the aspects.
Right.
I need to get a report out of there and a prediction which will going to help or analyze that user for his future consignment, anything. Or a
Absolutely.
prediction for the enhancement of the security, enhancement of the architecture, whatever may be.
I'll certainly come to that. Anybody who wants to, so Joy sir, you work in a very, very secure environment, Rose Marta, manufacturers of credit cards, so it doesn't get more secure than that.
I know, you will be putting me on spot.
Yeah, since you attended, so I had to.
No, yes, the nature of business is very secure because we have to follow a lot of regulations because we manufacture payment cards and all. So my question is not related to security. My question is about this two buzzword, which is hybrid and multi-cloud. So generally, in our fraternity, what people does say that I am having hybrid means certain things are on-prem and certain things is on cloud. So we say that we are also in a hybrid model. And similar way, we have different SaaS-based solution on different clouds. So we call multi-cloud. I wanted to understand from you what NetApp is doing to do this seamless integration, to create a real hybrid and a multi-cloud environment so that advantage as a customer we can get.
Sure, sir. I'll do that, but to help the gentleman, he did ask the use of AI for. I'll come to that, sir. I'll come to your question. The use of AI to be able to really detect user behavior.
See, nowadays,
and if there was a problem.
Not only the user behavior, but wherever he is touching, maybe he is doing something where there is in that specific system there is certain lack.
Right.
Can it assess according to the user daily stuff what he or she is doing? Can they assess the everything? So that's what I'm saying, a 360-degree view.
Right. So I'll quickly take this and then come over to that one, sir, on the hybrid cloud. So what NetApp does, from a user perspective, we work with the structured applications, databases, and your SAPs and SQLs and Oracles of the world. At the same time, we're very, very lucky to be the leader and very, very proud to be the leader in the unstructured data space. Today, all applications, they are generating so much of information in a very unstructured manner. Users wanting direct access to it. With our fabric-based approach, we want that information to be available to users, to the right user at the right time, and they could access it from the right place, whether it is on-prem or in the cloud. That requires a lot of work in understanding the user behavior. A lot of that understanding goes into learning and has been built into AI and ML engines in our products today. So engineering does monitor, has got codes which monitor the user behavior at the storage level. Assuming that there are firewalls and there are other security products which are meant to allow only the legitimate user, even if they get access, or an internal user, a legit user, goes rogue and tries to destroy something or tries to really bring down something, as simple as dropping tables from the database, or they get down to a point where they want to delete a LUN or a file system on the storage side. A storage administrator has the ability of saying, just delete this LUN or just drop that file system. So how do we really learn the behavioral patterns in the system? And then the moment we see any abnormality or any deviation from the normal, we would be able to flag that off and then take automated action as well. And today, I think NetApp enjoys about 50 security certifications. It is deemed as the most secure storage platform that even if people come and, the attackers have access to the information-centric security is built on the platform. The same security features, the same security technologies also run in the NetApp platform in the cloud. So whatever you've enjoyed on your NetApp systems on-prem, the same robustness and the same secure environment is available in the cloud as well. The way it works, and I could have shown you the demo, or maybe later at the stall, I could take you through a demo where a ransomware attack is happening on the system. An attacker comes in and starts encrypting files. The moment it starts encrypting file, we know for sure that the entropy in the system has changed. The degree of randomness has changed. And suddenly somebody is doing a lot of things at the block level, which is not a normal behavior, and we would have the ability of locking that user even taking it out of the network if you wish to, but at the same time take a snapshot, a point-in-time copy of data, and make it warm enabled, write once, read many, so that nobody can have access to that copy of data. Even if somebody tries to delete that snapshot, it would not be possible because it is write once, read many. And it is protected by a malicious administrator trying to delete it through multi-admin verification. So even if a single admin tries to go and change something and say, oh, you know, I know that these backup copies or snapshot copies are available, let me just drop these snapshots, that would not be possible unless another administrator also approves of that action. So it does, in the back end, these are very much programmable, configurable features, standard features on an NetApp storage, and you can leverage these to protect your system. Abnormal user behavior, it could be a user logging in during the mornings. Suddenly you see the user has logged in at 6 p.m. You know, what was the intent? Why is he here? If not an automated action logging them out, at least a flag saying or an alert saying that this user is generally not here, but we see an abnormal behavior. It could raise an alarm saying, why don't you just take a quick look at what is happening. Sir? Yes, please.
Thank you very much.
Please.
My name is Shafkat Haider. I'm from Bangladesh. So as we know that whatever happens in technology or wherever else, all countries have government policies and everything. So how do we align with the government policies? Do private sector developers assist the government in doing this, or the government dictate a policy and then you come to know about it and start work on it?
I think I'm not an expert, and that's a very, very loaded question, and I need to be very careful when I answer that since you mentioned governments. But
we have to follow policies everywhere.
Everywhere. I think government is for the people. Their job is to protect the interest of the consumer and the citizens at large. And therefore, the regulations are enforced to protect the interest of the citizens and the consumers.
The reason I say this is, as we all know, the government, with due respect to the people over there, they're a little less literate about the policies they make. And that becomes a kind of a double-edged sword.
It does, and therefore, again, you know, I should be very careful in answering that. There are committees where you have professionals contributing their ideas and suggestions, which the government, you know, takes up and then tweaks whatever regulations they have already floated. But essentially, to protect the interest of the consumer and the citizens, these regulations are brought in. And as businesses, it's our job, it's our responsibility to respond to that. Some of the organizations, and it doesn't put us in a very comfortable zone the moment we hear about regulations. We went through our you know, cycle of regulations and our eras of regulation, but all of them allowed our users and allowed us as citizens to do business with a lot more confidence. Today you can trade stocks with a lot more confidence. Today you can do UPI payments with a lot more confidence. Today you can transact just based on our Aadhaar cards with a lot more confidence, and regulations can be used and can be monetized to build that degree of confidence while you are doing business. All the projects I named, by the way, has got a NetApp footprint in it. UPI, for example. So they run on these NetApp arrays in the back end. Again, very, very secure sites, dark sites. They don't have internet connections. They will not allow our storage systems to report any problems also, but we got to support them with 24/7, very, very stringent SLAs for repair and replacement. So we have our depots across the country, all these data centers we service through our support organization. Coming to if that answers or that throws some light on the security aspect. Coming back to the hybrid cloud environment. Hybrid cloud, so there is a hybrid cloud certainly, you know, few applications in the cloud, some applications on-prem. That changed quite a lot with advent of containerization and modern apps. You know, these apps are stretching between on-prem and cloud environments alike. containers and all the app modernization initiatives based on open source databases, based on containerization, allows you to have your binaries to make your binaries very portable wherever you want to run them. The other problem is that they grow like rabbits. So you start, virtual machines were a lot more, they used to behave very well. You had them in tens or hundreds in a data center. Containers, they just grow from hundreds to thousands of containers very, very quickly, and for all good reasons. You can run them in the cloud as well. At the same time, imagine when you have a storage service from NetApp perspective, as providers of the data management platform, you have a storage service which has all the security, the snapshots, backup recovery mechanisms, etc. built in. When you go to the cloud, imagine, cloud by the way is quite secure at the infrastructure level, not at the information level. They have their responsibility in a shared responsibility model. Their responsibility is limited to the underlying infrastructure. They'll protect the infrastructure. Data is still your responsibility. While you do so, it is an EBS service, or it is a managed disk service in AWS, or it is a Google Cloud service. And they have their own different kinds of mechanisms. So the management overhead increases. And the funny thing is, the moment you want to protect data, suddenly it makes a copy as big as your production copy. Storage, which is about 30-35% of your expense, suddenly doubles just because you wanted to protect your data in the cloud. Back on on-prem storage arrays, and not just NetApp, the entire fraternity here, the storage fraternity, we do very efficient data protection of your data, taking snapshots, which are first snapshots almost zero space. Incremental rate of change, and that's the snapshots we keep on-prem. We also have the ability of doing that in the cloud. Talking to the hybrid, coming back on the hybrid side, all flash systems. Today, how many of you use all flash systems or use flash drives? Almost all the businesses use all flash systems. Flash is not cheap. It's not the cheapest medium to store. The spinning drives, the NLSAS drives, they're a lot cheaper. But the fact remains that 80% of the data is still not active. The time value of information, it decreases with time. And on that expensive tier, you still have 80%, typically 80%, let's say 70 in some cases, 60 in some other. But all that information is not being accessed, is not being touched, and still it is lying in that environment on-prem, which is horribly expensive. So NetApp enables or leverages the hybrid cloud strategy by tiering the information automatically to the cloud seamlessly. And yet, for the user or the application, the whole thing exists as a single information repository. Application consistent, protected by the advanced data management functions on the storage side. And by doing so, we reduce the cost of storing information on your expensive all-flash systems. So production data on all-flash systems, if you are, for example, paying a few thousands or lakhs per terabyte, you would be able to move majority of your information to the cloud, stretching the data plane into the cloud, and yet having a very consistent single image. Then there are questions of how would the application behave. I mean, if you push it to the cloud, there is a lot of IP and MPLS connections before you actually start accessing it. It is also based, driven by business policy. You choose what information moves. And if the information was inactive, the assumption is that it will be a fair expectation that it will not come back to you at lightning speeds. You would not expect it to come back to you at lightning speeds. Flash systems today do some millisecond response times or even nanosecond response times. So your production data could be on a very high speed, very powerful, robust, all flash system. Your inactive data could move to the cloud. If cloud is not something which your organization allows, for regulatory reasons, for some perceived security reasons, you can have it on object storage, and it will tier it to an object storage which is using NLSAS drives equally well and give you a hybrid setup within the four walls of your data center. So whether it is moving the data into the cloud or having you to tier data between storage systems, it can do that in a very consistent fashion without breaking the application consistency. So bringing down the cost of ownership for the enterprise. We have a large global SI who does exam results for a lot of UPSCs, and a lot of schools also have their portals running with them. The amount of data they collect, it is absolutely unviable for them to keep it, and this has to be kept for ages, for 50 years. Now they'll have to, and they leverage this feature by moving it to an object storage on-prem. They don't want to send it to cloud, but all that data, all the marks which possibly I have scored or you have scored, they are all moving to an object repository in the back end based on the policy they implement. So these things are happening today. They're being implemented today. Whether it is containers again, it is so tough to really say that these containers are running application A, application B, and application C, because by nature they are supposed to auto scale. In case something goes down, it could run on another host. So how would you know where is your underlying application data? You need a management plane which also figures out what are the Kubernetes clusters, which are the namespaces running on them, what is the logical application. So when you say protect my logical application, NetApp would automatically find which are the container pods which make up this application. Take a snapshot on whichever storage volumes the data is. You right click and you want to move that application to cloud for portability, or you're going live with an application which needs direct user access. You want to push it to the cloud, you can do that. And NetApp Astra Trident does that. Super apps development, a lot of development happening on-prem, but for user accessibility purposes, they would want to move it to the cloud. We're working, there's a project which is online today with a large public sector bank where you can right click and move this to a cloud environment, and that was one of the reasons they found it very, very palatable. That this is a very portable data management layer, whether you run it with your Kubernetes environments today or you move it to the cloud. So security, hybrid cloud, app modernization is touched upon. Artificial intelligence, how many of you are, so you have a comment?
So I was coming to artificial intelligence.
Please.
So I'm GenAI. I wanted to understand will your infrastructure, will your storage, you're talking about the architecture you have in your storage, is it going to help to reduce the GPU load to run LLM, MLM, SLM, whatever?
There is nobody from NVIDIA here, right? Yeah, I mean, I got friends in NVIDIA, so please don't, take it out of this room. GPUs are really cool. By the way, I got my certification, and when I actually saw how they work, they take the load off the CPUs, they do a lot of stuff, and then give it back to the CPUs. By themselves, they are not, there's not much value. But a lot of us, when I say us, our company included, NetApp, we have a huge development office, 3,000 people in Bangalore. But a lot of us have implemented AI projects with CPUs. So depending on the size of the project, you could very well do it with your existing Intel CPUs. I've had some friends in a company, which does a lot of AI GPUs, and they said, oh, well, if they're doing it on CPUs, they're not solving a problem big enough. They've been that brash also, because the fact is that GPUs can deliver a lot of performance. So we're seeing people leveraging the cloud platforms for doing training. But for inferencing, you need probably 1 or 2 GPUs, and that should make it viable. The problem is that when you take the model and put it for inferencing, or you're leveraging the model, how do you get your organization's data to the model? A model could be very generic, but you need it for your business. How do you point that model to your data, train it, and then put it for inferencing so that it continues to learn? So basically give out results, but it also needs to be trained, and whether you're using RAG within GenAI, etc., for it to continuously learn and improve. Bringing the data to the model is where NetApp contributes a bit, wherein irrespective of the location you choose, for example, NetApp works with the NeMo connector in NVIDIA, so you can point the model to a NetApp storage without ingesting all that data into an NVIDIA pod. Or if you have it in the cloud, a NetApp storage service can be attached to a high performance cluster in the cloud, whether it is Azure or AWS or GCP, Vertex for example, Vertex being the AI model there. You could simply have a NetApp storage service acting as a data source for Vertex. I don't know about reducing the GPU usage, but at least we make it easy for people to bring their data closer to the model or the model closer to the data, so that we cut down the time for really realizing the outcomes from an AI project. Just ingesting data or bringing data, I mean, imagine if these are unstructured. There's a large telco we work with. They have GPUs in their Intel servers. They don't buy DGX machines from NVIDIA, but they got GPUs. The data lake environment today, and this is only NetApp capacity, it is 60 petabytes today on object storage. All of it on object storage. There are other competitors as well. Overall, it's about 100 petabytes. And imagine if they had to really ingest that data into a newer model or take it somewhere for it to really start making sense. It would be very unviable to do so. So we build this data infrastructure, the underlying data infrastructure. You can have these models look at that data. We also help in curating data to an extent. Not all data needs to go into an AI model. You know, if all data goes into AI model, I mean, I could be generating information which is of no use, and still that goes in, becomes a part of the RAG routines, and then becomes a part of the Gen AI project. It will probably start hallucinating the model, and therefore our classification services would allow you what is critical, what is not. If there is not just in culling the data what needs to go in, but also exposing certain things which should not be in your data sets. For example, exposed Aadhaar cards, exposed credit card numbers. Those files, etc., should be moved on a side. Please, you had a comment, sir.
Storage over fabric.
Which fabrics? All fabrics. So
Microsoft
IP, fiber channel, NVMe.
Yeah. No, like Microsoft Azure Fabric.
Microsoft,
like that.
with Microsoft, we have a native Azure service,
Okay.
which we call Azure NetApp Files, ANF. It's a premium, high-speed, high-performance file service, very commonly used for AI projects and for high-performance environments where they need multiple megabytes and gigabytes per second throughput. So it's a first-party service, and when you consume it in cloud, we don't even sell it. You bill it under your Azure billing contracts or AWS billing contracts or GCP. So if you have contracts with those cloud service providers, you can consume them as first-party solutions from them.
Thank you.
I think we're running out of time. One last one.
Yeah, my
please.
question is that NetApp will support the virtual storage also with the different vendors also.
We stopped doing that long time back. We didn't see an uptake for that. The problem with the older storages or different
Yes.
storages is the support problem. Who will support? I can virtualize. You know, we can have storages coming as a back-end disk for me, but then I take the intelligence of the back-end storage, and in case anything goes wrong, you still have to rely on a third-party, support or whosoever that storage vendor is. We stopped doing that, sir, because the cost of refreshing your older storages, especially with sustainability initiatives in place, you can get a much smarter, a very small form factor storage at a much cheaper cost per terabyte today than just maintaining the older ones. Unless you are taking a big shift and 6 months you took a decision and now you're taking a big shift, you can't let go of this investment. Maybe that's where storage virtualization may come handy.
Thank you.
Okay, the last one at the back, sir. Last row gets
Thank
the
you.
back one.
Yeah.
Last.
So my question is, we are in the content management field. Is the AI can be used for the copy editing, technical editing, and the language editing, the grammaticals and all?
It does, sir, and we can take this offline.
Sure.
So the classification service, it helps. it just provides more intelligence to the information or about the information you have stored on your storage array. So with NetApp, it is a default service. It's a bundled service, part of the single license. You can go and classify your data. Also identify duplicate files, which files are old. So if you wanted to tier it to cloud, etc., you could do that through that
Yeah,
classification.
it will be really a disturbing technology. It will replace the human capability on language editing if the AI comes.
We can, sir. We'll take this off.
Sure, thank you.
Please, I'll be right here. I'll leave you here. Thank you so much for your time. Wonderful. I hope I didn't bore you with presentation slides. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mirza. That truly was pretty engaging, I must say. I'm sure all of you enjoyed that part, and I'm sure you also have questions. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take a little breather for 5 minutes, for 5 minutes precisely, and maybe Mr. Mirza can take the questions offline, right? The next session is a very special one, and this is for our invitees. Those who are already in the room can please be seated, or maybe take a little break for the tea. And those who are not here, who doesn't want to be a part of this session, which is an invitee-based session, you can please join us at the parlor where the sessions are already on. We have more invitees for the next session who shall be joining us in a short span of time. Till then, we're going to take a small little breather here. Thank you.